Hello, 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 and welcome to this edition of Office Hours with Lanora. Now, I see Jason, but I don't see myself. What is going on? Hold on one moment. There we go. All right. Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Office Hours with Lenora. I am Lenora Tolliver, the Enrollment Manager with the Realtors Real Estate School, which is a division of the Chicago Association of Realtors. Today's episode of Office Hours with Lenora, I did bring a special guest with me, Mr. Jason Casebolt, my friend here from At Properties Realty, real estate company. And Jason is going to talk to us from a student's perspective of how he's working towards becoming Rookie of the Year and his experience here at the Realtors Real Estate School. So let's give Jason a round of applause, everybody. Hey, 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 hey. Hi, Jason.
Hey, hey, Lenora. Hey, Lenora. Thank you so much. I love the intro, and I'm really happy to be here and get talking about real estate, what we do so well.
All right. Well, Jason, again, I mentioned Jason is, to me, a future Rookie of the Year. He is like no other student that I've ever had at the Realtors Real Estate School, and I've had a lot. So he's like one of my top 10, maybe even top 5, and I'll tell you why. But first, before I do that, let me quickly explain so that Jason, I know this is your first time live on Office Hours with Lenora. Office Hours with Lenora serves 3 points. The first point is we want to be a one-stop shop or a point of information for anyone seeking information about starting a career in real estate. Secondly, we want to help those individuals that have started their journey, maybe like you have taken a pre or are taking a pre-licensing course, pass that course on the first attempt. And third, for anyone much like yourself that is already in the real estate business to stay in the real estate business. So those are the 3 points for Office Hours with Lenora. With you, Jason, because I want to give the audience a little background about you. Jason started the pre-licensing real estate broker course with the Realtors Real Estate School about October of last year, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Right around
Okay.
October 23rd.
Okay. So we were definitely still in the pandemic, and you stepped out on faith and trust and everything else to start this venture. Okay.
Yeah,
Jason also passed his real estate exam on a first attempt about the end of October,
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Nice. Okay. And then you joined at Properties as well as became a member of the Chicago Association of Realtors that very first week in November.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was right after I passed that state test. It was getting registered. Don't get me wrong, there was a little bit of paperwork, but
Right.
getting registered with At Properties, Chicago Association of Realtors, making sure that I was, ready to actually start practicing real estate because right after you pass that test, it is not like, okay, let's go out in the field and start doing some deals. It's not like that. I mean, you need to have the resources, you need to have the mentors, the guidance, the training. It's like some people think, I just take pre-licensing, I take the state test. Now I get to go do 10, 20, 30 deals. It's like, no, there's a whole lot of steps that come before you actually start doing some deals. So I
Right.
wanted to kind of accelerate, the rate at which, I really got into the field. And so, major step in accelerating that process is as soon as you pass that state test, you got to be on top of it. I mean,
That's right.
there's no time to waste. In this industry, you have to have a sense of urgency all the time because if you're not going to get things done, things aren't going to get done. So I knew right away after I passed that state test that if I wanted to become the best broker that I could be, first step is getting set up with Chicago Association of Realtors, getting set up with a brokerage, and surrounding myself with the people and resources that I need in order to succeed. So yeah, for me it was there was no breathing time or relaxation in between passing the state test and joining a brokerage and an association. It was right away. I was getting on top of it, filling out the necessary paperwork, which is not super intimidating. I say paperwork and it might sound a little
Yeah.
intimidating, but it's not, you know what I mean? It's just par for the course. It's,
We
you know,
kind
what
of
you do
packaged
for
it well for you too on the
most
membership
definitely.
side to make it
Most,
easier. Okay. Okay.
most definitely.
Let me ask you this, Jason, because I want to tell the audience a little more about you. I remember our very first couple of conversations. One thing that I will say about you, when you called, you asked the questions, whether they were considered foolish or not. I think no question is foolish. And I thank you for that. I felt that you were coachable. I also felt that you did have that sense of urgency. We like to say time is of the essence in real estate. So you did that and brought that with you even before starting a pre-licensing class. You had that sense of urgency. You also knew someone who is now a mentor to you as well, Miss Risa Weiss, who was your instructor and also an instructor here at the Realtors Real Estate School. She sort of introduced you to the industry as well as to CAR and RRES. So you kind of had it, what would I like to say for lack of better words, ducks in a row. You were able to come to the business with some knowledge, not all the knowledge, but you took and you learned and you accelerated with that.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I remember our first few phone calls. I mean, when I first was, you know, preparing to get set up in Realtors Real Estate School, you know, I was coming from a background with no prior real estate experience. I mean, I had done just you know, very little, next to nothing as far as, you know, real estate goes for myself, and, you know, as a broker, anything like that. It was all foreign to me. So I recognized that if I wanted to be knowledgeable and if I wanted to be a good real estate agent, I needed to be a sponge. I needed to be a sponge of knowledge, because if I don't know something, I can't just walk in and you know, pretend like I do know it. Like, there's just no chance of that happening. People see right through that.
Right.
You know, as a broker, you need to be genuine. You need to be authentic. People pick up on, you know, your attitude and your energy. And so I wanted to, from the start, you know, convey an energy of knowledge. This guy knows what he's doing. And in order for me to get to that point, I needed to learn. And I'm still the exact same way as when I started out, just being a sponge of knowledge. I mean, it's questions and it's answers. I ask the questions, my mentors and people who have been through this already give me the answers. And
Nice.
so, you know, right away, yeah, it was just questions after questions after questions, because I was surrounded by people such as yourself and Risa Weiss who could answer them. And I needed all that information in order for me to be a successful real estate broker. That way I can inform my clients, as well as not making a fool of myself. Because well, and I say that in all honesty, because far too often do I see young agents, you know, people new to the industry, and they come in and they don't ask anywhere near as many questions as they need to be asking.
That's
You
true.
know, when you step into this industry, whether you've had some prior real estate experience or not, there is still so much that you need to learn about being a broker, about the real estate itself, about the process of purchasing real estate. I mean, there is so much, and selling real estate for that matter, there is so much that goes into this that you can't just simply walk in and pretend like you know, you have that knowledge, because you don't.
But
And by asking, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
but no, Jason, not to cut you off because I want to make sure that we stick that and stay right there on that subject. You said that you had a bunch of people that were influential in your journey in starting this career, so you could bounce questions off of them. You weren't afraid to ask questions. You positioned yourself well enough to make sure that if you did have a question, you had somebody to go to. Tell me a little more before we move on, and I think I know this answer. What made you choose to start a career in real estate?
This is an awesome question. And this is a story that I love to tell, because my journey into real estate was incredibly unorthodox. A lot of people, when they get into real estate, they probably see someone that they know who's in real estate, and you know, they decide to pursue it, or you know, they have a feeling of some sorts that's kind of an inkling to get into real estate. For me, I never had that inkling to get into real estate. The idea never really found its way into my mind. What the way that I got into real estate was this mentor that we've been mentioning, Risa Weiss. She was actually, and this is a funny story, I don't even know if you know this, but she was dating my father when I was in high school.
Mhm.
And so when I was about 17 years old, she told me, she sat me down. She's like, Jason, she's like, you have a lot of skills. She's like, I think you would be great at real estate. I was 17 years old at the time. I had no idea what that meant. I obviously, as a 17-year-old, had no experience or idea anything pertaining to real estate. My focus was more so on, my Algebra 2 homework for that day.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not thinking career paths right now. I'm a 17-year-old kid.
Right.
So, so she tells me that, and then she ended up telling me a couple more times. She's like, hey, like, I really do think that you'd be awesome at this. And I did not know Risa's position in the real estate industry. All I knew was that she was my dad's girlfriend. That's what it was. So I didn't even realize, what she was really saying to me. So then, I graduate high school. I get a job out of high school. I'm working that job for, a little over a year or so. And then the pandemic hits, and I realize that, I'm not content with what I'm doing. So I pick up the phone and I call Risa Weiss and I tell her, hey, I think I'm ready to take an attempt at this whole real estate thing. And it was really a leap of faith because I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So I pick up the phone, I call her. Risa's really, really excited for me, clapping her hands on the phone, like, oh, I'm so excited. You're going to be so great at this. And she told me, and this was honestly one of the favorite things that Risa's ever said to me, is she told me she would hold my hands every step of the way while it was at the beginning
And
stages of the
I know
process.
she's done that too.
Oh, most definitely. And for me, that was music to my ears because not only am I a brand new real estate broker, but I'm a younger real estate broker as well. So to hear someone tell me that they'll guide me, that they'll train me, that they'll take care of me as I do make this leap of faith and do a new career, that was the best thing that I possibly could have heard. So she tells me that right after the phone call, she says, okay, I'm going to put you in contact with Lanora. She started buttering you up with compliments. She's like, I love Lanora. She's like,
My
Lanora will
girl,
get you
Risa.
set up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I could tell there was, definitely a strong friendship there.
Yeah, we work together
So,
well.
so I get in contact with you, and right away, again, it's that sense of urgency, comes back to wrap around. But we were on the phone, and right away it was okay. What kind of class do you want to be in? Do you want to be in, once a week, twice a week, or do you want to be in the boot camp, which is all 75 hours of pre-licensing in 2 quick weeks? And I told her, I was like, I want to do the boot camp. I was like, that sounds awesome. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you take real estate school through Chicago Association of Realtors, and it may be other associations as well. I only have been a part of Chicago Association of Realtors, so I can only speak about that. But it comes at a much lower price, which is awesome. And you actually get a real teacher. A lot of the other avenues that people take to get into real estate, they go on their Google or their Safari and they, look up real estate institutes. And these are, self-taught trainings, no teacher, and they come at a much higher ticket. So right from the start, Risa connecting me with Lanora and Chicago Association of Realtors already right from the start got me off on the right foot with
Yeah.
having a real actual teacher, being surrounded by real actual classmates who are all trying to pursue a career in real estate as well. And in addition to that, at a lower price than what the competitors are charging. And so, I came into real estate with, enough money to survive, but by no means was I, loaded. So I was trying to get the coupons where I could, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, right from the start, I was able to, I mean, not even I can't take the credit for it, but Lenora and Risa were able to place me into a Chicago Association of Realtors, real estate school that, like I said, was an excellent environment to learn because you actually,
And you followed some recommendations because I do remember saying, Jason, apply for the scholarship. Apply, apply, apply. Not guaranteed or promised to anybody. Everything I asked you to do, everything Risa asked you to do, you did it. And then ultimately end up becoming a recipient of that scholarship, getting $700 of your money back that you paid towards your pre-licensing journey.
Yeah, and the scholarship opportunity was awesome. I was definitely, when I first started, I kind of was like, man, I was like, I bet everybody's applying for this. Like, what are the chances that they'll choose me? But Lenore and Reese are like, no, like you can do this. Like you can do this, and we know you can do this. And I always tell people, I love when people set the bar high for me. I love when people have high expectations for me because they wouldn't have those expectations if they didn't think that I could achieve it. So, hearing from Lenore and hearing from Reese, hey, you can do this, you can do this. It resonated with me, and I was like, I can do this. I ended up applying for the scholarship, getting the scholarship, which was awesome. And then in addition to that, there were a number of other scholarship opportunities that I've now, set myself up to apply for when I have reached those requirements. So
Right.
it's not just one scholarship for Chicago, pre-licensing, Chicago Association of Realtors Real Estate School pre-licensing course. They have, I would want to say 10 to 15 plus scholarships
Right.
for property management, for first year in the business, and for all these other avenues. I would need to be, looking at the list. But they have scholarships, named after particular people, and they're all these scholarships. It's always worth just throwing your hat in the ring and giving it a try, because they're real scholarships, and you can in fact get this money. And so the scholarship opportunities that Chicago Association of Realtors provided me with as well was just another building block, to help put myself in a better situation, and really just improve my skills as a real estate broker. So the scholarship program is something that I'm a huge advocate for. And when my friends get into real estate, I tell them, hey, take real estate or realtors real estate school. Get the discounted class. Apply for the scholarship, because Chicago Association of Realtors does an excellent job paving the trail for you. They put the stones in place. All you need to do is jump from stone to stone. And I think part of the reason that I'm, in this interview right now is because like you said, I'm coachable. I jumped from
Yep.
stone to stone.
You are.
I followed that path that was laid out for me. And if you follow that path, you will succeed. And so, yeah, definitely an advocate for the
I
scholarship
like
programs,
it.
and just, what Chicago Association of Realtors did for me, as a whole.
Well, let's get through some more of these questions really quickly because I know that there's going to be some coming in. I don't want to miss anything. Let's stay with the scholarships. There is one because you mentioned discounted programs. We don't technically offer a discount up front for the pre-licensing coursework. What Jason is speaking of is ultimately he took his coursework with the Realtors Real Estate School. He completed all of the steps, including membership with the Chicago Association of Realtors. For those individuals that are taking classes with RRES and coming back as a member of CAR, we do offer another, or they just automatically get a $275 savings. We waive the membership application fee to any student that took a pre-licensing course with us. So Jason saved roughly almost $1,000. He applied for the scholarship and became a recipient of the pre-licensing roadmap to realtor scholarship. Thus, after completing all of the steps, joining a sponsoring broker company, the at property company that he joined, and they were already a member of CAR, he received that $700 reimbursement, and he also received the $275 savings. That was for the pre-licensing roadmap to realtor scholarship. The other scholarships that Jason just briefly mentioned were after meeting certain requirements, like at least being a year in the business or a year as a CAR member. Jason's going to be eventually applying for another scholarship, the post licensing scholarship, which after about a year in November of this year, when his membership turns a year, he can apply for that scholarship to help if he becomes the recipient of that one too, to help pay for his renewal classes, his classes that he'll take to renew this broker license. That renewal is, as we all know, April 30th of 2022. So Jason, now that we know the process with scholarships and things of that nature, you have 45 hours of post licensing coursework that I know you've already taken. Why did you take the post licensing coursework soon after earning your license and becoming a member? Why did you not wait until next year to do it?
And that's a great question. And honestly, I can say, based on talking to colleagues of mine that did wait, I can confidently say that I avoided a mistake by taking it as soon as possible. I think had I waited to take post licensing, it definitely would have caught up to me. The reason I say this is because post licensing offers, a more in depth look, as well as a further teaching of real estate knowledge that you don't get from pre-licensing. Pre-licensing, it's incredibly important. It teaches you, the bones of real estate, but you can't, like I said, you can't just take pre-licensing, get licensed, and start doing a million deals. That's just not how it works. The reason being is you need to actually know what you're doing, and I touched on this a little bit earlier. And in my post licensing course, which I did take as quickly as possible, I took that, like I said, like right after I got licensed. I went through a training program with my brokerage, and then immediately following that training program, I took my post licensing course.
Right.
And the post licensing course, like I was saying, it teaches you how to be a broker. It doesn't teach you the bones of real estate. It teaches you, it doesn't even. I mean,
Transactional issues,
yeah, exactly.
issues that you might see going forward in the business.
Most definitely, a deeper look into the contracts themselves. Pre-licensing might teach you what some of the wording on the contracts mean, whereas post-licensing teaches you about the contracts that themselves that you use, kind of what to look for, how to break down those contracts, because these are contracts that are 13 plus pages. You know what I
Right.
mean? And as a broker, you need to be able to explain every single word on every single page, because your clients and your colleagues, people that you work with in this industry, they expect you to know that.
Fiduciary
Um,
responsibilities. Yes.
most definitely, most definitely. And post licensing, like I said, it gives you an in-depth look at the contracts, as well as how to interact with clients, how to coordinate transactions. I know some brokerages will have a particular person to do transactional coordination. Me personally, I don't have a transactional coordinator. I personally don't want to. I want to be with my clients every step of the way.
You
And so
boots on the
post like
ground, Jason.
most definitely. I mean, I don't want to, get a deal done and then I'm passing this client off to the transactional coordinator. No way.
Right. Right.
And so, and in by taking post licensing, and like I said, being a sponge for all that knowledge, it really taught me how to manage all the steps of a transaction, how to interact with the agent on the other end, because almost every single deal you're going to be working with a fellow agent. Teaches you how to build relationships with lawyers, loan
Yep.
officers, and the questions to ask lenders, as well as lawyers and stuff like that.
Fair
uh,
housing, sexual
most
harassment prevention training. So
most definitely.
conclusive.
And I mean, it's like, if I was not learning this stuff right from the start, I could have been going in the office and committing violations that I don't even know
Woo,
about now.
Jason, you
You know what
did
I mean?
it.
And it's like that. It's like, I don't want to
I didn't
be.
prep
I
him to
don't.
say that, guys. I didn't prep him to say that. He knew. He
What?
knew.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to put myself on a balance beam where I might do one little thing and I'm falling off into a pit of illegality. You know what I
Correct.
mean? It's like, I want to be on a very wide road where I'm very comfortable and I don't have to worry about falling off. And by taking the time to inform myself and learn from these teachers, I have now eliminated that risk of committing a violation, because I've informed myself of the policies, of the procedures, the rules and regulations that we have to follow as brokers. And that's incredibly important,
It
because
is.
you know
It is.
and and I'll touch on it again, but I see it too often. These young brokers that just want to get out in the field right away, they don't prep themselves. Now they're getting hit with fines left and right because they're committing violations that they don't know about. I'm not
Right.
trying to run up a tab of violations. That does not appeal to me. for a number of reasons. Number one, I like my hard-earned money, and number two, I don't want to get in trouble. So, just informing myself and putting myself in a situation where I'll, be informed of all these policies and procedures. Like I said, it needed to be done as soon as possible. So I definitely took some initiative, and really set myself up to be in
Yeah.
that position as quickly as possible.
Well, because we're going to be wrapping up here really soon. I want you to speak because the reason why I think that you're on the road to becoming Rookie of the Year, tell us a little bit about the closings. You don't have to give specifics or whatever, but I know just out of the gate, you did all of your preliminary stuff to get you up and running, but you also had deals and were closing deals and have closed several deals since then. Tell me in 2 minutes or less, what is a typical day in the life of Jason Casebolt, the broker?
Oh, that's a great question. Typical day in the life, you got to set the alarm for 8:30. I set the alarm for 8:30. Usually by the 8:45 alarm, I'm up and out of bed. As realtors, they offer a lot of flexibility with hours because you get to be your own boss. But when I talk to very, very successful brokers, you don't want to be the broker that's sleeping until 11 a.m., 12 p.m., and working in your sweatpants. You don't want to be that broker because your energy will come across very poorly to your clients. So you want to come across as someone who's on top of things.
Right.
So every single day I wake up and I dress the part. So I'm up early, 8:40. Well, early to me, 8:45, 9 a.m. That may not be super early to other people, but for me, 8:45, 9 a.m. I always, always, always put on my work clothes. Whether I'm going to the office or whether I'm going to showings or whether I'm working from home, I need to look the part because if I look the part, I'll then feel the part.
That's right.
And so I need to look and feel like a broker to kind of get in that zone because it's very important for us as brokers to have that mojo. We need to be on top of our game. It's a word I use with RESA a lot. Is making sure that you have your mojo when you get into the office or get in front of your clients. So I'll wake up, I'll get my work clothes on. Usually I'll hop on the laptop, start doing some administrative stuff. So this is, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., I'm usually doing the actual transactional coordination end. So I'm making sure that my clients have their earnest money submitted. I'm scheduling home inspections. I'm working with clients through the attorney approval period, which is something, that brokers, when they become licensed, they'll, learn all about the attorney approval period and what that means in the state of Illinois. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., I'm doing, clerical / administrative work on the laptop. Occasionally I'll be making a few phone calls, but these aren't so often phone calls to clients. They're more phone calls to professionals such as the agent on the other end of a deal, lawyers, loan officers, home inspectors, stuff like that.
So when are you prospecting? When are you prospecting for new clients?
New clients will be between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. So I'll take my lunch from 12 to 1. And then from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., I'll be prospecting. And that is, oftentimes social media. I'll be handwritten notes. I have, a list of, kind of marketing techniques and prospecting techniques that I use. But the handwritten notes, the mailers, I sent out some mailers to some high-end rental units, kind of putting a rent versus own calculator
some filler
to show them how. Yeah, exactly. Just so that these people know the benefits of home ownership and how equity works, stuff like that. So from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. is when I'll usually be doing my prospecting, reaching out to clients or potential clients, all that fun stuff. And then once that 5 p.m. time rolls around, it's showings. People think, if you talk to a successful realtor, they will tell you it is not a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. No way. It is from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. And the majority.
But that's for someone that's probably doing it full time. It is something that can be done on a part-time spectrum, but you're doing this full time.
Oh yeah. Oh, most of I couldn't imagine doing it part time. I put so much energy and effort into it that I could not imagine doing it part time. But yeah, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Not to say that's not an option. I bet there's a bunch of awesome part time realtors.
Yep.
But for me personally, I couldn't see that working out. I'm really I don't dip my toe into the pool. I just dive
We know.
completely in. So there was no part time. I'm just gonna try it out kind of a deal. It was full fledged forward. So yeah, so once 5 p.m. rolls around is when I start taking the clients on showings or start having some consultations, whether that be buyer consultations or seller consultations, or actually physically taking my clients to go see properties they're interested in. And
Okay.
this will usually be between 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'll usually get home from work 9:30, 10 p.m.
Right.
And by that point, I'm ready to go to bed and start the whole thing over again, 7 days a week. I don't take
Yeah,
Saturdays off.
but
I don't take Sundays off.
keep in mind, Jason is working towards a goal. I know he kind of put the filler out there and set the bar in terms of coming for Rookie of the Year because both his mentor, Miss Risa Weiss, and myself, we kind of put it out there to Jason that we were Rookie of the Years for both of our first year in the business. And he was like, okay, challenge, I accept. And that's a lot of what Jason is doing. But I know that he's also taking time to kind of have Jason time. You can't, even if it's 7 days a week, he does take the time to kind of break for that mental clarity, as well as reinvesting back in his business, his resources, because he's bringing a refresher, Jason, every day. Jason, listen, let me say this to you, and you know how I feel about you. I just want to thank you for joining me today, for sharing with my audience about you. You have been such an inspiration to me. Every phone call we have, I leave so invigorated, so amped up because I know that you're out there giving it 1,000,000% effort. And I'm trying to do what I need to do on the back end behind the scenes. Before we leave, give me one nugget or one bit of advice, and then we're going to go because I won't take up everybody's lunch hour. But tell me what would be that one piece of advice that you would give to someone new to the industry that is just starting out. Maybe they don't have the team or the influencers as a part of their career. What's that one thing that you would say to them to keep them going in this business?
I got to give credit to an agent mentor of mine. Her name is Tracy McBreen, and she gave me this golden nugget of advice when I asked the same question to her. And honestly, I'd say it's one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten as a real estate broker. And it's very simple. It's just pick up the phone. Too
Ooh,
often do we have agents that do not pick up the phone. I don't care if it's a spam risk phone call. I don't care if it's from Maryland or Nevada or Canada. I don't care where the phone call's from, whether you know the phone number, whether you don't know the phone number, whether you're making cold calls. You need to pick up the phone, and because your clients or potential clients, your customers, fellow agents, lawyers, everyone, they need to hear your voice.
right.
They need to feel your energy. They need to feel like they're talking to somebody on the other end. So you need to get on that phone as often as possible and really be talking to people, not texting, not emails. I mean, you need to be out in front of them, really on the phone or via FaceTime. You need to be talking to them. You need to make your voice heard. And
Right.
so, golden nugget of advice I'd say to new brokers is pick up that phone because you don't know who's going to be on that other end.
I
I've
like
gotten
it.
some of my I've gotten some of my best clients from random phone calls,
Yeah,
and now they're referring me 2, 3, 4 clients. You know what I mean? And you
I
you
do.
cannot you can't miss an opportunity. And so yeah, if I were to give one piece of advice, I'd say pick up that phone as often as possible.
I too agree because text messaging, emails can have a different tone than what you meant, and it could be misinterpreted. And just, yep, just having those conversations because I try my best to always pick up the phone when a student is calling because there's that nervous energy, that there's that doubt, there's that somebody has said don't do it. And I want them to be able to talk to someone live and share my experiences with them as well as to get their questions answered. Man, Jason, my dude, Jason, I really, I'm so proud of you. So continue to do great works. You are making everyone proud of you that has come into your path. I want to thank my audience for joining Jason and myself on this episode of Office Hours with Lenora. This has been so fun. We got to do this again, Jason, after you win Rookie of the Year, okay?
I look forward to it. I can't wait. I
You
can't
only got
wait.
a few more months to go, so keep closing. Keep closing.
That's the plan. Hey, you just let me know when the next one of these is on the schedule, and I'll be there.
My friend, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'll put upcoming dates for classes. We'll be picking back up broker pre-licensing courses via Zoom as well as in person in the month of August. The dates will be attached to this live in the description above. So thank you again. Ta-ta for now, Jason.
Thank you so much for having me, and
Later.
and and, and thank you everybody
You're
for joining
welcome.
us.
You're
All
welcome.
right,
Bye-bye.
take care, everybody.